seems to be working for the Red Hot Braves. Playing on the road? No problem. They just wrapped up a 4-2 road trip. How about the rain? No worries there either. They waited out 2 delays in the past 2 nights and picked up 2 wins. At home, that's covered too. The Braves are now 14-6 at the Ted and have the best home record in the league. The Braves are 17-8 in May and are looking for more wins this weekend to make it a merry month indeed. It's Saturday night in Atlanta, and the Braves are ready on Sports South. From Turner Field in Atlanta, it's time for Braves baseball. Remember the old adage, spawn insane and pray for rain? Well, we don't want any wet weather tonight, as Braves baseball on Sports South is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the right stuff, and the low price. The weather forecast calls for scattered thunder showers tonight. The Braves don't want anything raining on their parade. They go for their 4th straight win as they battle the Pittsburgh Pirates in Game 2 of our series tonight. And good evening, everybody. Joe Simpson and Chip Carey. Welcome back to Braves baseball. It has been indeed, partner, a very merry month of May for the Braves. It's safe to say they have certainly hit the Georgia lottery jackpot.
They certainly have, Chip, and only the Los Angeles Dodgers have a better record than the Atlanta Braves in the month of May, and you can attribute a lot of it to offense. They are swinging the bats, and anytime you're averaging almost 6 runs a game, you're going to win some ball games. The Braves right now 17-8 on base percentage and average very high too, and you compare that to those numbers down in April. We put that in little print because those weren't all that impressive, so we're glad to get April out of the way and enjoy this good run the Braves have been on in the month of April. But there are some guys that have contributed to this good record in the month of May. Jason Hayward has continued his drive to Rookie of the Year. Great 2 months for him, but this month alone, a .352 average. Troy Gloss, after a slow start, has really picked up the pace. And how about a couple of starting pitchers? Tim Hudson undefeated in the month, and Derek Lowe, his last 4 starts, an ERA under 3. A great sign for Derek as we head toward the month of June.
And that just tells you how well this ball club's playing, for there's a very noticeable face missing from that group before we just showed you. The man that leads the National League in hits wears a Braves uniform. His name is Martin Prado, and we'll give the Atlanta second sacker a little more love. We'll talk about his first 2 months in this 2010 season for the Atlanta Braves as we continue from Turner Field in just a moment. The Atlanta Braves on Sports South are brought to you in part by your local Ford dealers, by AT and by Geico. We are getting ready for baseball. It's the Braves and the Pittsburgh Pirates here in Atlanta. The Braves a mere game and a half behind the first-place Phillies and charging hard in the National League East. And welcome back with Joe Simpson. I'm Chip Carey. Joe, you remember last year in the second half, the Braves won 5 out of every 8 games they played after Bobby Cox moved Martin Prado to the number 2 spot in this Atlanta batting order. Braves are playing even better baseball since he's moved into the leadoff spot in 2010.
Yeah, his batting average is even higher than it is for the season in the leadoff spot, Chip, and his on-base percentage well over 400. So he's getting on base and setting the table for the guys in the middle of the order, and they have really prospered. But it was that grand slam in Milwaukee that not only got everybody else fired up, it turned this team around record-wise where they started believing in themselves offensively. But he's tied for the league lead in multi-hit games. He leads the league in hits. And that multi-hit tie is with Ryan Howard, of all people. 35 runs scored. That's tied for 5th in the league. And how about this? Since he moved into the starting lineup when Kelly Johnson got hurt back on June 30th of last year, only Ryan Braun of the Brewers has more hits than Martin Prado. For what he's done already this year, if that's not all-star worthy, I don't know what else he's got to do. He was 3rd in the voting when that first vote result came out. I hope he moves up the ladder and gets a chance to play in Anaheim in the All-Star game this year.
A very quiet leader, literally and figuratively, is the Braves' second baseman Martin Prado, who's only hitting .368, batting first on Bobby Cox's lineup card. Martin Prado will try to give Nate McLeod, Chris Medlin, and the rest of his mates some RBI opportunities tonight. Middle game of our 3-game series. Weather permitting, it's the Braves and the Pirates. Lineups coming up next. There is bad weather all around the ballpark, but so far not raining at Turner Field. And our broadcast on Sports South presented, as always, in beautiful high definition by H.H. Gregg. Braves don't want anything to slow them down as they battle the 20 and 29 Pittsburgh Pirates. John Russell's club has a new look at the top of the batting order. Andrew McCutcheon is back in the leadoff spot. Ryan Doman has had a very good run against Braves pitching. He'll hit 5th. Bobby Crosby, Lastings Millage, Ronnie Cedeno, and Brian Burris, the pitcher, is going to hit 9th.
Chris Medlin on the mound for his 4th start of the year. His first 3 so far, an excellent ERA of .276. No record, though, in any of those 3 starts. One of them includes an outing, his last time out against Pittsburgh. 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs allowed. Walked 2, struck out 1. And for his 4 keys to pitching success, it kind of comes off that start that he needs to stretch it out, try to pitch a little deeper, extend himself physically, and he's got to work on right-handed hitters a little bit. They're kind of wearing him out. He can throw that change up to lefties a lot. He needs to mix it into right-handers a little more.
And a real good righty is Andrew McCutchen, who was hitting third with the Buccos when we saw them up in Pittsburgh. They have had so many problems out of the leadoff spot. They get one of their fastest runners batting first tonight.
I think this is the spot he's got to hit for this ball club to set the table and hope that other guys pick up the slack in the middle of the order.
He's 6th in the league in hitting at .314. He's stolen 12 bases. That's 2nd in the National League. This is only his 3rd start of the year batting leadoff. And perhaps to your point, Joe, with this Pirate farm system starting to bear fruit, maybe Pedro Alvarez, who's a big bat in the middle of the lineup, could be close to joining their club and hit behind McCutchen.
There's a changeup to a right-hander, just missed off the plate. Yeah, Alvarez is not far. They've got a pitcher, Lincoln, who might be up as early as next week to fill the spot for Charlie Morton, who's on the disabled list.
Jose Tabata's an outfielder they have down at AAA.
Yeah, he's close too.
So you can understand if they've got McCutchen first, Walker hitting second. He's the first guy that's come up as a position player from the minors. The Pirates will have a very young and exciting top portion of their lineup, and a walk to McCutchen starts this game for the Pirates. Here's a look at the defense behind Chris tonight. Melky, Nate, and Jason from left to right in the outfield. Ross, Prado, Escobar, and Chipper from first to third. And David Ross, another start behind the plate, plays at Brian McCann with a left-hander on the mound. Another chance for Brian to make sure that quad is 100%. Talked to him before the game today, Joe. He said he was ready to go, but the day game tomorrow, another chance to rest up a bit.
And back-to-back left-handed starters, so why not take an extra day?
Gloss thought he picked him off. And Brian O'Nora and Gloss react, and Bobby Cox on his way out.
Boy, Troy was emphatic with the crew chief on that. Whatever explanation Brian O'Nora gave Bobby Cox, Bobby is back to the dugout. This should be a clear picture. Snap throw. Oh yeah, good grief. Good grief.
He tagged him on the helmet.
Holy smokes.
Fans behind the plate watching the replay. Pirates get a big break, and now Walker tries to bunt and falls behind 0-1.
And the odd part about that call is that, of course, McCutchen knows he was out. It was that McCutchen's right arm wasn't even anywhere near the bag.
I think that's what Troy said. So Neil Walker, who's hit safely in 3 of his first 4 games this year in the major leagues. A local product, another close play. McCutchen back out of Gibsonia, Pennsylvania, and Pine Richland High School. They drafted him as a catcher. He's probably a super utility type player.
Well, they're really pulling for this kid to play well. They want him to do good. He's a Pittsburgh guy, and they need some local flavor.
No balls and a strike.
This is where McCutchen can drive you crazy. I mean, he's already out, but he's still running. But he draws so much attention and distracts the pitchers so much. Yes, he did.
Oh. Cuzzy says no. 2 balls and a strike. Five years after Walker was drafted, he's back in the big leagues. And is the 26th ranked prospect by Baseball America in the Pirates chain. 2-2.
Great changeup. Lefties came into the game hitting .222 against Chris. Right-handers .328. Quite a disparity there, but you can relate it primarily to the use of the changeup.
Full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Andy LaRoche waits on deck. McCutchen at first with a leadoff walk, was picked off, was called safe. Now let's see if he runs with nobody out. And a 3-2 count. He is. Good jump. Ball 4. 2 walks start the game from Medlin tonight. And trouble afoot in the top of the first.
Walks were a problem for him when he first came up last year and went into the rotation, but really haven't been since. He missed badly on the 3-2 counts to both McCutchen and Walker with the fastball.
Coming into play tonight, Chris had struck out 28 men and had walked just 7 in 35 innings. And now he's got a right-hand hitter in LaRoche, who's batting .261 for the season. He shows bunt, lays down a beauty. There'll be only one play, and Chipper will make it. They're at second and third on the LaRoche sacrifice.
And if you're wondering why they're playing for a run in the first inning with their 3-hole hitter putting a bunt down, it's because their offense is a little challenged. Only the Houston Astros have scored fewer runs than they have. And while they have hit more home runs on the road than at home, they're still tied for 14th in the league in that department. So trying to get Brian Burris an early run or 2 here to start this game.
But even when they've had chances, the Pirates have not been able to come up with big hits very often this year. Astounding number of runners in scoring position for John Russell's club so far this year, as Garrett Jones backs away. They've had 538 men in scoring position. They've driven home 99 of them.
It's not going to be enough to win games. This guy's he's not a ground ball hitter. He's a fly ball hitter. Outfielders might get a chance to throw somebody out here. But Chris can't continue to pitch behind in the count.
Outfield straight away and deep for Garrett Jones, a former Braves farmhand. And that's driven foul for the first strike. Garrett has knocked home 31 men. That's far and away the highest total in this lineup for the Pirates this year. And he's hit 5 home runs.
There's the changeup again. Front.
Would he throw another one? 2-2?
Why not? Little off the plate.
He did. 2 out.
That goes to what you were just talking about, Chip, and that is having guys in scoring position and not being able to take advantage of opportunities. They move the runners in scoring position for Garrett Jones. All he's got to do is put the ball in play. Infield's back, willing to concede a run, and he strikes out. So tip of the cap to Chris Medlin, who came back after falling behind 2-0 to get him.
And now Ryan Doumit, the catcher, bats. Doumit 5 homers, 19 driven in.
This is the guy in the middle of their lineup that scares me the most. And he hit the home run to win the game last Sunday. The walk-off homer in the game that Medlin started. The home run came off Saito. This guy scares me the most in their lineup because of his good power. They got first base open and Crosby on deck, who hasn't been playing that much.
So let's see how carefully Chris works. He starts him with a breaking ball and a strike.
And one of the first breaking balls he's thrown. That's good.
Now that pitch is unhittable. 0-2.
That's why the lefties are only hitting .222 against him coming in. It just drops right off the end of their bat, fades away from them, and for whatever reason he doesn't throw it quite as often to right-handers for fear that it might come back to them.
Ground ball right side. Medlin is out of a first inning mess. Back-to-back walks. The Pirates play for one and get none. In their first at bat, now the Braves come up with a red-hot month of May working. They're 17-8 in the season's second month. And Martin Prado, Jason Hayward, Chipper Jones bat 1, 2, and 3 for the Braves. Then it's Gloss, Escobar, and Melky Cabrera. His bat is resurgent during a 7-game hit streak. David Ross, a big hitting hero last night. Nate McLeod hits 8th, and Chris Medlin 9th.
And the starting pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates is 29-year-old Brian Burris, 6'2", 190 out of Troutdale, Oregon. His last 3 starts, he's been getting rocked. A 7.90 ERA, 19 hits in 13 2/3 innings. And his road numbers even uglier. A 1-2 record, an 8.20 ERA. And to get better on the road tonight, he's got to cut down on his walks. The road woes, well, on the road, he's given up 14 more hits and 14 more runs than he has on the road, at home rather, in just 2/3 more innings.
And the challenge for the Braves, try to get their record against a left-hand starter back to 500. You would think that the Braves would have better marks against southpaw pitching, but that hasn't been the case. Hitting just .231 as a team against left-handed pitching.
It's funny, though, as bad as their record is and has been against left-handed starters, they're 4-1 against them at home, including the win last night. Kind of an odd split there. And the scouting report on Burris is that he's kind of a clone of Zach Duke and Paul Maholland.
popped up a mile high at second. Neil Walker drifts back. And Prado is retired. The Pirates defensively have committed 38 errors, resulting in 25 unearned runs. A fleet-footed outfield in left and center. LaRoche, Cedeno, Walker, and Crosby. Bobby Crosby usually plays up the middle or third. He plays everywhere for Pittsburgh, and Ryan Doumit is behind the plate. One out for Jason Hayward. And he has worn out the Pirates this year. 6 hits and 11 at-bats.
One of the comparisons of Burris when you're talking about pitching like Zach Duke is that he might pitch inside a little bit more than Zach Duke does. But a 4-pitch pitcher, not going to blow you away. Just going to try to mix his pitches and hit spots. And I guess the disadvantage he has is that he's got to follow that guy, Zach Duke, who the Braves saw last night.
Well, that was my next question. As a hitter, how big of an advantage is that for you?
Should be a real good advantage after one time through the order. They've never seen him before. It might be an isolated guy that's had an at-bat or two, but most of his time was spent in the American League, in the big leagues of Baltimore, what time he has.
3 balls and a strike. Hayward launches that ball deep right center field. McCutchen going back. Hit the wall. It is out of here.
Continues to wear out Pittsburgh pitching, left or right hand, it doesn't matter.
Hayward puts the Braves up a run, and here's Chipper Jones. Ten homers, 36 driven in for the Braves rookie right fielder.
Talked about in our opening comments the change in the lineup and the run scoring ability with Martin Prado going to the first spot, but having Hayward move into the 2 spot has been a huge asset too.
Chipper gulps that ball up the middle. Chipper's got a handful of hits in the series, and he's aboard with 1 out.
Like the base hit that drove in 2 last night. Here's our air trend. How far did it fly? Home run already tonight. Second batter of the ball game. And it was launched 402 feet to almost straightaway center field.
Boy, great try by McCutchen. He thought he should have had it. The park too small to hold that blast as Atlanta scores first. Here's Troy Gloss. 6 homers, 30 knocked in for Troy. His average at .265. That home run for Hayward, by the way, is the 24th home run hit by the Braves this month.
Floodgates opened in Milwaukee, though. It was after that grand slam by Martin that everybody unbuttoned their shirt a little bit and went to work.
Chipper's running, got a great jump. Doumit's throw not nearly in time.
Brian Doumit's got to have a little help, but he has had none to speak of. He is only 2 for 31 now in stealing and throwing out base stealers. 2 for 31. But Chipper went on the first move made by the left-hander, got a huge jump.
And he's a perfect 3 for 3 in steals. And now Troy Gloss an RBI chance. He's ahead in the count. I don't have the number in front of me, but it seems to me, Joe, in the last 2-3 weeks, the Braves have been doing a much more consistent job of scoring in the first couple of innings of ball games. That's such a big problem for them in the month of April.
You're right, and what a relief it is for the pitchers to go to work back in the second inning, having a little cushion to work with.
Troy will take a walk. First one of those from Burris tonight. And here is our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard. Look at the run differential this month for Atlanta. As we told you, they've won 17 of 25 played this month of May.
That's just awesome. Tops in the major leagues, and the Pirates 28th out of 30 teams this month in a -45, but for the year the Pirates -124, being outscored 124 runs.
And when you look at that -124 number, this is their 50th game. They're being outscored 2.5 runs a game. Is Pittsburgh.
And the funny part is, not so funny for Pittsburgh fans, but when they keep the game close, they have the best record in the major leagues. They're 15-7 in games decided by 2 runs or less. But that run differential there, yikes. The next highest number is Houston at 83, -83.
And in fairness to the Pirates, that number includes a game they lost 20-0 when Milwaukee crushed them earlier. Escobar rips it foul straight back for a strike after a meeting with pitching coach Joe Kerrigan for Brian Burris.
Yunel last night was 0 for 4. He did score a run. I thought he was a little overly aggressive early in the ball game, just as he was on that pitch. Something that maybe wasn't a strike that got him behind in the count. In Florida, when he had such a good series, he was a little more patient. Went 4 for his last 9 down there. Was hitting the ball all over the ballpark, both right, center, and the left. But that first pitch swing that he fouled back, and then the backdoor curveball, suddenly he's in the hole 0-2.
2 on, 1 out, 1 in on the Hayward homer here in the first. And that ball just fouled past third. Where's his natural offensive stroke, in your opinion, Escobar?
Because of the way he's bent at the waist, his shoulder is tucked. I love his setup. You'd think that it's to right center field. That's the way the Pirates play him. See how he's got that shoulder tucked? Everything drives down and through the ball, more or less right at the second baseman, Neil Walker. That's kind of the stride and approach he takes with his hands. If you make a mistake in, he'll pull it. But everything to me is geared toward right center.
Let's see if he can go with 2 strikes that way. As that one fouled at the plate.
And that's not a criticism at all. That's not a bad thing. That's, to me, that's awesome that a guy can hit the ball the other way with so much authority, as you know. But sometimes I think he falls in love with that. I've said that before. I think he forgets that he can pull the ball a little bit. But it all goes to some patience and getting a good pitch to hit.
How much of that aggressiveness has to do with you now looking up and seeing a 194 instead of a 299 for that average?
A lot.
Tipped and caught by Domet, and Escobar is down on strikes for the second out.
But he can get it going just like Melky Cabrera's gotten it going.
Melky hitting .407 in the last 10 games. He has 11 hits in that stretch. He has scored 6 runs. And tries to extend his batting streak to 8 games. Grounded toward Walker at second. He'll go to a knee. And he'll make the play to first, and that retires the side. But Jason Hayward's incredible year continues. He's in double digits with home runs for the first time as a big leaguer. A majestic shot to right center field gives the Braves a 1-0 lead. The Atlanta Braves on Sports South are brought to you in part by Acura, by the Georgia Lottery, and by the Home Depot. So far, so good. Braves lead, and the weather is cooperating. The sky's brightening up a bit as we look out toward the right field portion of Turner Field in Atlanta. And Chris Medlin, staked to an early lead, will face the back end of the Pirate lineup. It starts with Bobby Crosby, who's playing first base for them tonight.
You mentioned that he's normally a middle infielder, plays some third at times. I would suggest that both Bobby Crosby.
Back up the middle, it hit Medlin. Prado will recover, but not in time to retire Crosby. Let's see if Chris is all right. That ball hit him flush. And Bobby Cox and Jim Lovell, the Braves certified assistant athletic trainer, make their way to the center of the diamond.
I don't know if it got his arm or if it got under the arm and got him in the ribs. But it was solid. It got under the arm. Kind of grabbed at his side as soon as it happened. Whatever it hit, it's hurting right now.
He's not going to even take a warm-up pitch. Somewhat surprising. But Chris will battle on here and face Lasting's Millage. Millage, 15 RBIs and a .252 average. Is there a scarier thing in baseball than a comebacker to the mound?
I wouldn't think so. That's why it's so smart for pitchers to practice and develop the mechanics of following through and being able to field your position by facing straight ahead, which is a defensive posture.
Pirates know full well about how scary that is. They have pitcher named Chris Jakubowskis, who was hit in the head by a Lance Berkman line drive, and he's had vertigo symptoms. He's not even back pitching yet. That's been about a month ago or so. Today, the Indians, David Huff was hit in the back of the head by A-Rod and left the field. on a stretcher. He's apparently all right. But as big as these guys are at the plate, and as hard as some of these guys throw, you're amazed that pitchers are able to react as quickly as they do. A late strike call to Millage, 2-1. He thought it was down. Line to first, double play, and there was nothing Crosby could do about that.
Remember a week ago tonight in Pittsburgh, a key play in the game against the Pirates was a similar type double play. Diving stop by Hinske, and then he won the race to the bag for a huge double play to get the Braves out of a jam. And yeah, when the line drive is hit behind you, you got no shot. Nothing Crosby could do.
Now Ronnie Cedeno, the shortstop, bats. He's been plagued with some back problems of late. But when he's been in there, he's been very good, especially in May. His average over 300 this month.
He had to be scratched from last night's game with lower back tightness. And they need him in there. He's reached in 18 straight games, and that May average reflects a little bit of why they need him in there, hitting over 300.
Cedeno came up a Cub, went to Seattle, now is in Pittsburgh. And a guy you love to see your pitcher get ahead of. He's a tough man to walk. Strikes out a lot. And takes that one right back up the middle on an 0-2 count. So 8 hits in his last 15 at bats for the Pirates. Shortstop, and at the very least, it'll clear the pitcher in the Pittsburgh second. Here's Burris, a 31st round pick by the Giants 10 years ago. Signed by the Pirates as a minor league free agent December 31st of 2009.
Spent some time in the Baltimore organization in Toronto as well. 13-20 in the big leagues with those two teams.
One ball, 2 strikes. We'll keep an eye on the Phillies and Marlins for you tonight. Braves a game and a half behind Philadelphia in the East, and a great matchup down at Sun Life Stadium. That's Halladay versus Johnson. Runner goes, pitch cut on and missed, and Medlin retires the side in the second inning. Lastings Millage lined into a double play, leaving Pirates fans everywhere muttering, "Arr!" After early scores, 1-0 here in the second. David Ross will lead things off after a big night last night.
Got that hanging curveball in the first inning and brought home 3 runs. The big blow of the game. And of course, he got down another potential base stealer. They have no shot there. Double off the right field wall later. 3-hit game, his first one since 2008. And of his role, he says, I'm definitely just a role player trying to play my role and give Mac a break when he needs it. Talking about Brian McCann, of course. I'm definitely the backup catcher, but the day I'm starting, I'm a starter. That's our Geico quote of the day.
And we were talking before the game. The last part of that last sentence was very telling in the way that David explained his role on the club. He didn't say, I am the starter, but I am a starter. From a player's perspective, what's that subtle difference?
Well, it's just that the way he perceives himself as a part of the team and not the cog, the straw that stirs the drink. He's not taking on any more responsibility than 1/9 of the starting team that night. And again, with another lefty out there on the mound, it just gives Brian an extra day to rest that quad, and I think that's a good thing. He'll be ready perhaps tomorrow. Mahalam will be out there. We'll see what happens.
David looks inside. Ball 2. Ross with 11 RBIs, 5 hits and 8 tries against the Pirates this year. And with those 5 hits, has knocked in 4 runs. Two and 2. Swing and a high fly ball hit well to left. Millage, though, will have room. And Lastings puts it away for out number 1. Fans are cordially invited to the 2010 Braves Diamond Gala, Sunday, June 27th at the Lowe's Hotel, benefiting the Braves Foundation. The Diamond Gala is a star-studded night of casino games, entertainment, silent and live auctions alongside Braves players, coaches, and alumni. For tickets or more information, visit braves.com/gala. Here's Nate McLouth. He's hitting .184 with 3 homers, 13 driven in.
Just 6 for 39 against lefties, although one of his homers was against a left-handed pitcher.
One ball, 2 strikes. Nate leads the club, sadly, in strikeouts. He's struck out 42 times in 141 at-bats. But when he puts the ball in play, hitting almost 270.
Major difference there because he can use his speed. Can't use his speed when he's headed back to the dugout after a strikeout. And if he can just stay a little more upright on his swing and not fall on that back leg quite so much, you'll see some improvement.
Laid off that pitch, 2 balls. And 2 strikes. Talking with Terry Pendleton about McLeod's struggles and about the struggles of Escobar as well. There is no shortage of work by those 2 Braves hitters. The count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. They're in the cage constantly. Yunel Escobar, after batting practice today, went back in the cage with Terry Pendleton at 6:30 tonight to work on his stroke. And sooner or later, you've got to figure that the back of the bubblegum card, those numbers will come to pass. And on the brighter side, When you think about the Braves going 17-8 this month, they've done it without big contributions from McLeod, without big contributions from Enel Escobar.
If you're not going good, the answer in your head is, I've got to keep swinging. I've got to figure out why I'm not hitting.
Lifted to center. McCutcheon is under it. And 2 are out.
So the more swings I take, the more practice I get in, then at some point there's going to be something that feels right again. It feels like, there it is. There's that comfort zone. There's the timing. There's the triggering mechanism. And that's only going to come from taking swings. It's not going to happen from just idly hoping it shows up.
You hit in the major leagues.
Swung, yeah.
Well, I didn't want to go there. It's early, but Medlin hits. How much of that is physical? How much of it is mental?
It all goes to success, and just about like anything else, Chip. You know, you get a base hit your first time up, all of a sudden you're on top of the world, and you've found something. You go up the next at bat with a lot more confidence. And if you're up for the 4th time that night and you're 0 for 3 again, it's like anything else. You just got to have a little success to build confidence. You get to this level, you know how to hit. You've done something right to get to this level. It's a matter of managing your emotions and trying to keep your confidence level up to know and trust yourself to know that you can still do it. So a large part of it is mental. I'd say a predominant amount goes to the mental state.
But the muscle between your ears isn't going to feel good if you don't get hits.
Well, let's put it this way. The physical, mechanical issues that break down are a lot easier to fix.
Remember what Robin Roberts was saying about Cole Hamels of the Phillies when he was going through a tough time? As Medlin strikes out, Roberts gave the Phillies lefty a pat on the back and said, "Never forget how great you are." And hopefully that'll be the case for Nate McLeod. Braves go out in order in a scoreless 2nd inning. We head to the 3rd inning in Atlanta tonight. Braves with an early lead. Jason Hayward touched off his 10th home run this season. And friends, we invite you to purchase $125 or more in regularly priced Braves merchandise for the Braves Clubhouse store at CNN Center. And you'll get a Stars and Stripes beach towel as a gift while supplies last. For more information, visit the Braves Clubhouse store at CNN Center or call 404-523-5854. It's a good-looking towel with the MLB logo. And a good start for Chris Medlin tonight, leading by a run. He has scattered a couple of hits. He's walked a couple of men, and he's been hit with a line drive, but he battles on and faces the Pirate leadoff man.
It's a changeup to a right-hander again. Well located. Throw it for a strike. They have to honor it and expect to have to swing.
Well, he launches this ball deep toward left field. Melky Cabrera, as far as he can go, he can't get it. And Andrew McCutchen has hit a solo home run and has tied this game. He is a dynamic player and the cornerstone of this Pirate rebuilding effort.
Andrew McCutchen's hit 6 home runs this year, and they've all been on the road. He has not yet hit one at PNC Park. It feels like cold hard blast just out of the reach of Melky Cabrera. Right in between the playing fence and the stands.
Neil Walker lines one over short. Broke his bat in doing so, but back-to-back hits for Pittsburgh in the 3rd inning. And Walker hits in 4 of his last 5 games. McCutchen, the 11th pick overall in the 2005 draft for the Pirates. Hit 12 homers, knocked in 54, and stole 22 bags in his rookie year last year.
Now, he doesn't even have a full year in yet. He's a guy that got called up and put into the center field spot right after Nate McLeod got traded. He's just going to get better.
And now Andy LaRoche is the hitter. John Russell rolled the dice in the 1st inning with back-to-back walks in front of LaRoche, called on his number 3 hitter to bunt. LaRoche successfully sacrificed McCutchen to 3rd, Walker to 2nd, but Garrett Jones struck out on a changeup, and Ryan Doman grounded out, and the Pirates' rally died in the 1st inning.
I didn't finish my thought last inning right before Bobby Crosby hit that line shot off Medlin. I was about to say that Crosby and Andy LaRoche both need to diversify where they play. I mean, if they're going to move around and be a part of this ball club, with Pedro Alvarez on the verge of being called up, he plays 3rd base, and he will be there for a while.
1 ball, 1 strike. Double play ball hit towards 2nd. Escobar will fly across the bag. Nicely turned double play. 2nd twin killing hit into by Pittsburgh so far tonight.
That helps. This is a hot shot too, and Martin had a hard time staying down on this ball, but got it started. Ball was fielded real deep in between his feet, but that worked out just fine.
Talked in Florida about how fast that infield is for the Marlins. This one at Turner Field very quick too. And a little bit of that diamond dry substance still on that infield. Boy, Ed Mangan went through it by the bushel load last night. Fine Braves head groundskeeper. Swing and a miss by Jones. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hopefully he's got some of it left in case he needs it over the weekend.
Those guys were superhuman last night.
Yes, they were. Fastball with some late movement there from Chris. Fastball's a good pitch.
Hard hit ball, diving play. Prado from his backside throws him out. Martin Prado, you are amazing.
He's on the All-Star ballot, you know. Great play.
Reminded us that Martin is on the All-Star ballot. As you look at our Blimpie game summary, two of the bright young budding outfield stars in the National League have each hit solo homers. And Jason Hayward, due after Martin Prado, starts off this Atlanta third.
See, from Martin's standpoint, confidence-wise, there's nobody that anybody runs out there right now that he doesn't have full confidence in that he can hit them. Doesn't matter what you throw or where you throw it.
He entered this game tonight with a .320 batting average. That's third in the National League. 21 multi-hit games. That's tied for first in the league. And a whopping 65 hits now.
And he's patient. I mean, he's not in any hurry. Doesn't matter the count. He's not afraid to take a first pitch strike just to see the ball out of the pitcher's hand. That's confidence.
This one, however, popped up again left center field for McCutcheon, and he'll take over. And 6 in a row have been retired by Brian Burris. We mentioned vote Martin Prado for the All-Star team. Here's the balloting leaders as of 3 or 4 days ago.
Chase Utley, unfortunately, at second base is the vote leader among everybody. So Martin, while he is third, has a long way to go to even think about being voted in as a starter. But beyond that, he should be on the team as of today.
Breaking ball for Hayward is called a strike. Charlie Manuel will be the man selecting the reserves. And Charlie likes guys that can hit. So that would help Prado, you'd figure. And Hayward launches another ball. This one left center field. Millage can't get that. That'll short hop the fence. Hayward has his second extra base hit. A ringing double with 1 out.
Speaking of All-Stars, and speaking of being 20 years old and having a lot of fun, just think what you were doing when you were 20 years old, because I don't think any of you or any of us were playing in the major leagues and tearing up major league hitting like this guy is.
And all of a sudden, Chipper's starting to tear it up a bit. He's a point shy of .240 with his batting average. Doesn't sound like much, but boy, he's turned it on the last 4 or 5 games. High and away to him. 1 ball, no strikes.
His last at bat very similar to one last night when he drove in a couple of runs, and that is that he's a little bit more bent over at the waist. He talked to me in Florida about how he was trying to lean over just a little bit more to stay on the ball a little bit longer, and it helps him stay back too. This was a pretty good pitch again. This was the first inning tonight. Down, and he didn't hit this off the end of the bat. Shoulder stayed tucked. His head went down and through the, as he was swinging at the pitch, went down and through it. Most of this season, that's been a ground ball off the end of the bat to short.
Big hole right side where Walker tries to keep Hayward close at second base. Chance for Chipper to maybe drive a ball that way as he's in the driver's seat. 3 balls, no strikes. And Chipper walks again. 36 walks. Moves him ahead of Josh Willingham of the Nationals for the top honors in National League play. Chipper already this week the franchise record holder for most walks. He passed Eddie Matthews when we were down in Miami. So 2 are on for Troy Gloss. He walked his first time up.
Now, Burris was very careful with him, but if he tries to get ahead early in this count here, Troy will light him up.
And walks are a big part of this Atlanta offensive attack. Braves lead the league in walks earned. They're getting almost 5 walks per game this season.
I think that's part of what you see in those main numbers, Chip, is when they're averaging close to 6 runs a game, the hitting. Joe Kerrigan's going to make another trip to the mound, the pitching coach for the Pirates. In April, when they weren't getting the hits, I mean, you heard Bobby Cox say over and over again, we're getting them on, we're just not getting them in. Well, they were still drawing their walks then, they just weren't getting the hits. Now all of a sudden the hits are coming, and when you've got some guys out there drawing free passes, plus you're getting your hits, it's going to show up in that runs per game column.
And it seems like every other inning, Hayward or Prado or Chipper or Gloss is up. And that's a function of those walks and those hits.
As recently as May 17th, the Braves were in last place in the division, 6.5 out. So they've gained 5 games in a short period of time. And a tip of the cap to the offense for a lot of that.
1 ball, no strikes. Gloss bounces that ball deep short. Cedeno makes a fine play and the throw to third in time. LaRoche almost forgot to tow the bag. Good play by Cedeno, the only play he could make.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Troy Gloss because there's no way Cedeno would have thrown him out. And a heads-up play by LaRoche not to be a spectator, but to go to the bag and be ready for this force play, even though he had to look down to find the base. Good play by Cedeno.
So with 2 outs, Escobar bats with runners first and second. 1-1 is your score. First pitch, ground ball to short. And Cedeno makes short work of Yunel Escobar. He's 0 for 2 in the game. Braves strand a pair in the third, and we're still tied going to the 4th inning. Fly ball belted deep left field, and the Braves lead.
Braves, Pirates, Sunday beginning at 1 on Fox Sports South.
Indeed, one more with the battling Buccos here in Atlanta. This one tied through 3, and Mahalam versus Kawakami in the series wrap-up.
Got a good feeling for KK tomorrow. Real good feeling.
That is our Airtran upcoming schedule for the Braves. Then the Phillies come to town Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Domet, Crosby, and Millage coming up. I didn't hear the walk-up music played by Matthew Kaminsky, the organist here at the ballpark for Ryan.
I didn't hear it either. I think last night it was doe, a deer, a female deer.
Huh. He'll have a seat. 3 pitches, retires the Pirate catcher. Here's Crosby. Fox Sports South is giving you access you can't get anywhere else. Get the latest news and notes from our daily insider blog, The Chop. Not only that, make sure your voice is heard by sharing your questions and comments in the hot corner, because nobody covers your team like our team. FoxSportsSouth.com.
You would figure Bobby Crosby's music to be White Christmas, wouldn't you?
Sure. Crosby hit song. But Bing had a lot of great songs, didn't he? Not just White Christmas, right?
Beats me.
That was your era. Ground ball to short. Unell's got it. 2 out.
We were talking about the All-Star team earlier, and Dave Baker posed this question to me between innings about what are the odds of Charlie Manuel, who will be the manager, selecting Bobby Cox as one of his coaches for the All-Star game. Well, that was a good question, given this is Bobby's last tour.
I'd say that's probably a pretty good chance. The question then would become, the Braves play in New York on the Sunday before the All-Star festivities, and the game is in Anaheim.
And then the team reopens after the break at home against Milwaukee.
Liner into left center field by Millage. Nate cuts it off. Lastings will take a big turn and throw out an anchor with a 2-out single. 5th Pirate hit.
Chris Medlin, though, he just plugs along. He gives up hits. He's had 2 double plays turned behind him already. Came into the game for the year having given up 1 more hit than innings pitched, but as a starter, remember that first outing against the Phillies, gave up 9 hits in 5 innings, 4+ innings. But doesn't seem to be too rattled or too bothered when he's got to work out of the stretch.
Yeah, he's fun to watch because he goes after hitters. He's not going to light up the radar gun, but he is certainly unafraid. Strike 1. Close play, and back safely is Millage. Cedeno ripped an 0-2 pitch for a single back in the 2nd inning. He's behind in the count here in the 4th, 0-1. And he lines that one over 3rd, and that's going to drop in cleanly. Millage can really run. He's on his way to 3rd and will stop there. The throw goes into 2nd. And Cedeno never stopped running, dumps a double down the left field line, and for the 2nd time will clear the pitcher. And the Pirates have 2 more men in scoring position, but with 2 out.
That pitch was in on him too, but he did a good job of clearing his hips out of the way so his hands can work and get the barrel of the bat to the ball. Good hitting by Ronnie Cedeno, who stays hot.
9 hits in his last 16 at bats, and now David Ross out with Burris up. Bryan did not have many good swings in his first at bat, and with a very fast runner at 3rd base, you know, Atlanta might be thinking about defending a bunt.
2 outs. He's going to have to bunt for a base hit, but don't fiddle around with this guy because McCutchen's on deck as the leadoff man tonight. You don't want to have to mess with him this inning. I'll give Burris this. He's been swinging hard, and if you throw it where he's swinging, look out.
Yep. McLeod at near Little League depth in center. Melky very shallow in left. Hayward shortens up in right. And a line drive. Drops for a hit. Gets past McLeod. 2 will score. Burris around second. Big turn. Chugging for 3. And it'll be a triple for the pitcher with 2 outs. And Pittsburgh jumps in front 3-1.
All this starting with 2 out. Fastball down the middle. He went right after him, and give Burris credit. Swinging hard. He found one he could handle, and with Nate playing so shallow, as you said, Chip, and rightfully so, with the pitcher up there to try to take away any blue pits. The gapper plates 2.
First career triple. And Pittsburgh leads, and McCutchen is down a strike. What do they say? If he's got a bat in his hand, he's a major league hitter. And Burris helps himself. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 in, 2 out. Number 22 hitting.
Make a good pitch here. Leave that runner at third. McCutchen's been a tough out for the Braves.
Popped him up. Escobar in on the grass in front of the second base bag, and that retires the side. With 2 outs, the Pirates get a single from Millage, a double from Cedeno, and Brian Burris triples to left center and gives himself a 2-run lead. The Pirates have the lead, and a special treat. The professor is in the house.
Yes, I am.
Pete, great to see you.
Good to be here.
And we're going to let you on even though you don't have a tie on.
I'm retired now.
Oh, yeah. Melky Cabrera leads off the fourth inning as Brian Burris goes to work. Award-winning author Pete Van Wieren. How's the book doing?
Book's doing well. We were out here tonight for a book signing, and we had a huge crowd out there. It really went well.
How you liking this month of May for the Atlanta Braves?
Liking it a lot, especially since there are still 2 or 3 guys who haven't contributed much yet. But you expect them to down the road somewhere. Stay close.
Yeah.
The whole division's up for grabs, I think.
Braves trying to catch the Phillies. They're a game and a half behind them. Marlins in third. And we were talking the other night, Pete, about how much improved the entire division is. Used to be the Nationals with the doormats. Not so anymore. They're awfully tough.
Not anymore at all, and they're going to get better very soon.
Popped up foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I know how diligent you were about staying on top of baseball during your career as a broadcaster. How much time do you spend on it these days, keeping
I follow the team. I almost always either watch the game or have the game on in the background, listening to it if I'm doing something else. I must say I do miss an occasional game.
Line to right. Garrett Jones on the run. Tracks it down. Good play. 1 out.
And you know what the best part of it is, Joe? When you had that rain delay in the 9th inning last night?
Yes.
With 1 out in the top of the 9th, leading 7-3.
Yeah, I have a feeling I know where you're going.
I turned the game off. Or at least I switched over to something else. And then I switched back about 15 minutes later to see whether it was on yet, and it wasn't. I went to bed.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't.
I know. I had to ask Bobby today, did they come back and play those last 2 outs in the 9th? And he said, oh, yeah.
Yeah, rain delays are something nobody misses as David Ross bats, takes the ball out.
And I felt for you guys in Florida the other night, too, on a getaway day. I know how that is. I remember those well.
We get to Atlanta about 3 o'clock. Got to bed about 4 and back to the ballpark. Last night, 1 ball, 1 strike to Ross. Jason Hayward, the talk of all of baseball, Pete. You were here for so long. Does he bring back any memories of other youngsters that have come through the system for you?
Well, I've been asked that a lot lately, and about the only 2 players I can remember that came up with the kind of hype that he has had and got off to the kind of start that he has gotten off, well, maybe not as good as he's gotten off to, were Bob Horner, who came straight from college to the big leagues and homered in his very first game against the Pirates, and Andrew Jones, who was 19 when he was first called up, but that wasn't at the beginning of the year. That was mid-season when they brought him up. I don't know as though I've ever seen anything quite like this in all the years that I spent with the team.
He's just incredible.
You keep waiting.
All he can do.
You keep waiting for the scouting reports to catch up with him, and he keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Instead of the other way around. That's the encouraging thing. And
you and I were talking before the game about how easy at times Jason seems to make things look.
And a lot of the things, there was a play in the very first inning of a day game here, I think it was here, about a week or so ago, where the sun was a problem in right field, and the leadoff hitter hit a line drive right into that sun, and he routinely made that catch. That's a play that's going to really catch a lot of rookies off guard. But he was prepared for it.
Ross bounces that ball up the middle. Walker to his right makes a good play. And David is out number 2 in the 4th inning.
But no, I'm encouraged. I think, if you're only a game and a half back with Jurgens being out for 3 or 4 weeks, and probably 3 or 4 weeks more before he does get back, and, Chipper Jones not contributing much as far as run producing right now, and Brian McCann's gotten off to a slow start. He's still got a couple of guys hitting under 200. You're only a game and a half back. Get those guys going, you got a good chance of getting them.
Had a 9-game losing streak mixed in there.
Absolutely. During that losing streak is when I began to think, this might be a long year, because all during spring training you kept hearing talk about, could this team score enough runs? And they weren't scoring any runs during that 9-game losing streak. But now they're scoring runs.
And here's one of those guys the Braves would like to see going, and that's Nate McLouth. We had that shot of Bobby Cox. This, of course, is his final season, Pete, as the manager of the Atlanta Braves. I don't know that anybody who follows this club has really come to grips with the fact that Bobby's going to step down at the end of this season. Your thoughts on the Bobby Cox era in Atlanta?
Well, it's certainly been a great era, not only as a manager, but give him credit, too, for those 5 years he spent as general manager. the drafts that were held then, the improvement in the minor league system that came along, the trades that were made for people like John Smoltz, that became the nucleus of everything that happened in the 90s and beyond. Going to be big shoes to fill, I'll tell you that.
It'll be very tough. Whoever comes in here, whether he's within the organization or outside, it's going to be a huge transition.
And whoever comes in here is going to have to learn very quickly how to get thrown out of games.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Start working on that record.
1 ball, 1 strike. That's a little low to Nate McLeod. 2 balls and a strike. Do you have a favorite Bobby memory?
Oh man, there are so many of them. Actually, my favorite memory of Bobby is all those road trips that we took. When we'd both be up early in the morning, walk down to the hotel lobby, and there he'd be with a cup of coffee, and he said, "Sit down." I'd grab a cup of coffee, and we'd sit down and talk about everything. Talk about the game the night before, talk about the game coming up, talk about other games, talk about who got knocked off American Idol last night. Talk about, you name it. We covered it all.
There's a liner from Nate McLeod. Worked the count to 3-1 and didn't miss a pitch. And is aboard with 2 outs.
And when people ask you what you miss about the game, or do you miss the game, the answer is yes, I miss the game, I miss the people, I don't miss the schedule. But those are the kind of things you miss. Those working with you guys and having those morning sessions with Bobby on the road, things like that. Those are the things you miss about the game.
There's a couple of post-game, conversations you'd like to have too. I mean, you gather for maybe a little nightcap or something.
Absolutely.
Those were nice too.
Absolutely.
Chris Medlin hits. He struck out his first and only time up. 3-1 Pirates. And he lines a shot into right center field. McCutchen comes on and makes a sliding catch.
Coffee gathering in the morning, hot chocolate at night.
That's right.
Pete, all the best. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you
Mikes
guys.
and Men is the book. It's a must read for Braves fans everywhere. And Pete, always a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Of that doing.
Yeah, it was good. It's 3-1 after 4. The Pirates are in front. They'll have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up. Boy, it's great to see Pete, isn't it?
He looks good. He looks good. And I noticed that he didn't have any problems putting on the headphones. He remembered.
No. He was outstanding. And again, if you love baseball, love the Braves, and love Pete, pick up a copy of Mikes and Men. It's a great read.
It is.
Pete and Jack Wilkinson have written a terrific story about Pete's life with the Braves. A lot of great surprises in it for you. As Walker drives that ball to center, McLeod will slow as that hits off the base of the wall, and Neil Walker has come back to the big leagues with a vengeance. He's on base for the 3rd time tonight with a leadoff double.
It's his 3rd double in 2 nights. And that one just missed getting out of here to straightaway center. Boy, does he use his hands nicely. Left-handed. He's a switch hitter. Not a real big swing either. Just great bat speed generated by his hands.
And for the 4th time in 5 innings, the Pirates have placed the leadoff man on in this game. Now LaRoche bats. He has sacrificed and he is hit into a double play.
Walker's already made them better by being here. So when they get some of those other guys called up out of their minor leagues, this is going to be a much improved team.
And even further down the road for the Pirates, there's quite a few glimmers of hope. As that ball chopped to third, LaRoche with a poor at bat is the first out. They had 8 players, did the Pirates, on their Class A Bradenton team make the mid-year All-Star team in the Florida State League. 8 of them. One of them was Jeff Locke, who was a pitcher that the Braves sent to the Pirates in the Nate McLouth deal. But think about that. 8 players make
That's pretty strong.
Halfway All-Star team.
See John Russell there. John Russell doesn't show any emotion, or much emotion if any, but he was none too happy about that at bat from Andy LaRoche not getting the runner over. They have to do little things.
Jones had a similar at bat, or a similar result, I should say, in the first inning. He struck out with runners second and third and 1 down.
Line back to the mound, and Medlin can walk it to second. Look at Garrett Jones. He can't believe it.
Stick your glove out. The ball might find it. That's what happened. Almost went through his glove. Just another routine double play.
Third of the night for the Pittsburgh Pirates. A 6-pitch inning sends this to the bottom of the 5th.
All year long, Braves baseball on Sports Out, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the right stuff, and the low price. 3-1. Pittsburgh has the lead, and the top of the Braves order is coming up. Prado, Hayward, then Chipper Jones. And now the 3rd time through the order for Brian Burris. He sports a 5.5 ERA coming into tonight's play.
And an 8 ERA on the road.
Martin Prado has popped out twice, once to second and once to center. Ground ball through, a clean single. And the tying run comes to the plate in the form of Jason Hayward as we take a peek at our AT trivia question tonight in Game 2 of the series. Who is the last Brave to lead the league in hits?
Several nominees there in my head. Marquise Grissom was the last Braves hitter to have 200 hits. Terry Pendleton won a batting title. Chipper Jones won a batting title. They're candidates.
Here's Hayward. He's homered. He has doubled. And Burris almost threw that down the right field line.
Gar.
That's what I was thinking.
Don't go back that far.
He had a great nickname, the Roadrunner. Ralph Gar. Here's Hayward. Big hole right side where Prado leads at first.
If you weren't with us in the first inning, Jason Hayward accounted for the Braves' only run so far with this launch into straightaway center, his 10th of the year.
Braves will happily take number 11 right here. 3-1. Pittsburgh is in front. Pirates have an interesting note in their game information sheet. They're 14-1 this year when leading after 4 innings.
That is a weird one.
Usually you worry about what your lead is after the 6th, 7th, 8th. They need 3-1 tonight. And a breaking ball is rolled over and is a fair ball. And that'll be the first out. Prado to second with Chipper Jones up.
That's when you're hoping the ball catches the lip of the grass and kicks it foul. Watch this. Crosby fields the ball, looks at Jason, then turns around and walks toward first. Good thing he hit the bag quickly because Jason turned on the Jets when Crosby turned his back on him and was going to try to beat him to the bag.
So 1 on, 1 out for Chipper. He is singled, stolen a bag, and has walked. Busy night in the National League East this evening. And the Phillies and Marlins are playing down in Miami. Roy Halladay, Josh Johnson in that matchup living up to the billing. The Phillies lead 1-0 in the 6th. In fact, Roy Halladay hasn't given up a hit yet.
Wow.
To the Marlins. And has struck out 7 men.
He's been getting cuffed around a little bit.
Mets are in Milwaukee tonight, playing the Brewers. And Milwaukee scored 4 in the first. They lead 7-3 over New York. Corey Hart's hit 2 more home runs. He's starting to heat up. George Kataris also has gone deep for Milwaukee, a club that's had very little home cooking working.
Chipper's got to be patient here. Make sure he gets a pitch to drive. And as soon as he saw the breaking ball, he just started backing off. Didn't like the call by Chris Guccione. But he's already walked once tonight. And with first base open, we'll just see how he works if he's going to try to give Chipper anything to hit. I like the pitch to Troy Gloss. Another breaking ball.
That one around the plate, though, for a 3-1 count.
Track says that pitch was on the corner, but not for Chris Guccione. Here's one where Chipper, this is a count where Chipper can look for a breaking ball if he wants.
And another walk. Second of the night issued to Chipper, third in total for Burris. It does, however, set up a double play opportunity for the Pirates, but Troy Glaus also has a lot of power.
Well, bases on balls have been a problem for Burris, and he walked 4 in his last outing in 3 2/3 innings against Cincinnati. He got beat 7-5 and gave up 5 runs. And he'd thrown 79 pitches when he came out of the game in 3 2/3. Tonight he's been more efficient, but he has walked 3. And maybe the Braves can make him pay for that last walk that put the tying run on base.
Big month for Glaus. He's knocked in 21 runs in May.
Only 9 out of 22 batters have gotten a first pitch strike from Burris. And Joe Kerrigan almost nursemaiding him through this start so far. Was away to Chipper. They threw a breaking ball in, but anything hard was away. Troy's been pretty good at going the other way.
Doma tried to snatch a strike there and couldn't do it. 2 balls, no strikes.
And again, this is another count where if Troy wanted to, he could sit back and wait to see if he's going to pitch him backwards and throw a 2-0 breaking ball like he did Chipper.
Doma took some punishment. That was a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, one of his best of the week. Oh my, that got Doman's bare hand that was sticking up there above his right knee. Can't imagine how much that hurt. Another reason to protect that throwing hand, though, and hide it somewhere.
Well, would you take a chance and run here? See if he can grip the baseball on a stolen base attempt?
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Good thought.
Chipper's already stolen a bag. He's at first. Prado leads from second. Not going. Pitch hard hit and fair and down the left field line. Prado will score. Chipper on his way to third. He's getting waved. Relay. Not in time. Cut off. 3-3.
Burris pitching behind in the count this inning. Hayes here. Fastball. And this time Troy turns on the fastball, pulls it right over the bag, just out of the reach of Andy LaRoche. And then it's off to the races for Prado and Chipper. And we've got a tie game. Let's see if Escobar can be a little more patient. A bad pitch last time up with runners on.
Bullpen starts to work for Pittsburgh. And a breaking ball for a strike. Glaus's big month continues. 4th double for the year. 22nd and 23rd RBI in May. 32 in total this season.
Laid off that breaking ball first pitch, even though it was a strike. Wasn't what he was looking for. Laid off the changeup. Got the count even, 1-1. Now let's see what they throw him. Maybe a better pitch to hit. Another curveball. This was what happened his last time up. Now the location of that pitch was really on the really outside corner of the plate, maybe even a little bit off the plate, and he tried to pull that ball, and that was with runners in a runner in scoring position, first and second, and just wasn't patient on the first pitch. Make the pitcher work. He's the guy that was in trouble.
Grounded up the middle. Cedeno gloves and throws on the run. Lost to third. Now 2 men are out. And apparently Burris got a little piece of that ball to slow it down up the middle. That's a 1-6-3 official scoring play. And Melky Cabrera will try to break the tie. He's 0 for 2. Melky has 5 2-out RBIs this year. That's half of his total of 10. So he's had some big hits. Line for Chris Medlin, 3-3 game in the 5th. Popped up and playable at second, and that will retire the side. Braves got the leadoff man, got a Chipper Jones walk with 1 out, and Troy Gloss guides one down the third baseline to drive in 2 men. Braves have tied this game through 5. It's a 3-3 score. And our Braves broadcast on Sports South, presented in beautiful high definition by H. Gregg. Big hit in the game for the Braves from a big man at first. Troy Gloss drives home a pair with a double. Now Chris Medlin will face the middle of this Bucco batting order. Starts with Ryan Domet, the catcher.
Probably happy he can still grab the bat, hold it, taking that foul tip off his right hand. Wow, what an effort by the fan down there on the tarp. That young man gave up his body. Fortunately, the lady next to him didn't give up the nachos.
Line to left. And Domit goes the other way. And again, Joe, the Pirates put a leadoff man on. That's 5 of 6 innings they've had the first batter reach.
And the one inning they didn't, they scored 2 runs. It was the inning that Medlin got 2 in a row before some trouble started.
So 1 on, nobody out for Bobby Crosby. Roger McDowell will make a visit to the mound. And while we have a moment, we invite you to join us Memorial Day, Monday, May 31st here at Turner Field for the Braves and Phillies. And then the Beach Boys post-game concert presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. For tickets, visit Braves.com/Beach Boys. Braves have announced the starting pitching matchups for that series with the first place Phillies. Tommy Hanson and Joe Blanton on Monday. We'll have it for you on Sports South at 105. Tuesday night, it's Tim Hudson, Cole Hamels. Joe and John will have the action over on Peachtree TV. And then the homestand wrap-up, Derek Lowe, Kyle Kendrick at 105. And then we're off to the West Coast again. That one bounces away from Ross, and David can't find it. Domit on his way around second. Slams on the brakes. Throw back behind him. And he's safely there on a wild pitch.
That one skipped off the plate. When it comes off the plate, it's got a little more on it than anything in the dirt.
Now with the runner at second, Ross will go out and make sure he and Medlin understand the new set of signs. Braves would love Chris to get through this 6th inning because his spot in the batting order is due 3rd when the Braves bat. And Crosby will try to hit this ball to the right side if he can. He's already 1 for 2.
Here's another one of those situations for a guy like Crosby that Andy LaRoche was not able to accomplish last inning after Walker led off with a double. He couldn't move him over. But if you're going to make yourself valuable to this team, once those other guys get called up, you better do the little things right.
There is that shot toward right. That one curving near the pole and well fouled. For a 1-2 count.
Jesse Chavez warming up behind Medlin.
Crosby, the 2004 American League Rookie of the Year. Pops this ball up, and Ross runs out of room. That 2004 year for Crosby came with the A's. He hit just .239, but hit 22 home runs. Stole 64 bags.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Excuse me, it's 64 RBIs. 64 RBIs for him. Stole just 7 bags for Oakland and 545 at bats. Next year at 276 in limited duty. Played about half the year. And this ball golfed foul past 3rd.
Yeah, he battled some injuries after that Rookie of the Year season. He's tried real hard to stay in the lineup for a full season again. It's been tough for him.
Stress fractures of the ribs, 2005. And then had a fractured ankle in August of that year. Pop up right side. Gloss gives chase. Might have a play. Near the tarp. Takes a peek and in the first row. Can't make the play.
Just ran out of room. It had time to get to the tarp and then lean over, maybe, but probably not. That was going to be a long reach. Roy Halladay, by the way, down in Florida, perfect through 7 with 9 strikeouts.
Little tapper back to the mound. Medlin will make the play to first. Pirates having trouble advancing runners from second to third early in innings.
It just puts an added weight on everybody else. I mean, if you don't get the guy to third, it requires a hit then to score that runner. And after the Braves have just tied the game up, it was a golden opportunity, or it is a golden opportunity for the Pirates to come right back. Those sunflower seeds don't taste near as good when the runner's not advanced.
And Halladay, by the way, just went through Coughlin and Hanley Ramirez in that Florida lineup down in Miami. So Phillies by a run. Here it's tied 3-3. Braves going for their 4th consecutive win, trying to get to 27 wins and 22 losses. One ball, one strike to Millage. Born in Bradenton, lives in Bradenton, Florida. Originally a New York Met. Was traded to the Nationals for Ryan Church and Brian Schneider. Then the Pirates got him from the Nationals June 30th of 2009 with Joel Hanrahan for Niger Morgan and Sean Burnett.
He might have grown up Pirate fan since they trained in Bradenton for years.
Pickoff play, good chance, and they got him.
Chris Medlin has such quick feet. Watch how fast he turns and is ready to snap that throw over there. Our Toyota Tacoma play of the game. Great throw, too. Outstanding with the feet and the quick turn by Medlin.
And how about the positioning of the second base umpire, Scott Berry? Right where he should be, and a great look at the hand, the glove, and the tag. And Domit was out by plenty. So good work all around there for the second out. Now a 2-2 count to Millage. Momentum is a fickle thing. All of a sudden it's back in Braves' favor with Medlin 1 strike away from sending this thing to the bottom of the inning tie.
You know, a manager falls under a lot of criticism when his team is 20-29 and struggling to win games, but you can't run for him and you can't think for him.
Called for one of your forward keys for Chris Medlin to stretch it out. He's completed 6.
And got some help defensively, too, and got a run to work with early. This was the first inning homer by Jason Hayward, his 10th of the year. That was answered by Andrew McCutcheon, another terrific young player for the Pirates who hit a home run, his 6th of the year. And then the blow of the night for the Pirates with 2 outs, a 2-run triple by the pitcher, Brian Burris. That was countered in the 5th inning for Atlanta. A 2-run double into the corner by Troy Gloss. He's up to 32 RBIs on the year, tied going to the bottom of the 6th.
And the 7, 8, 9 hitters coming up for the Braves. It starts with catcher David Ross. Does Medlin hit for himself here in the 6th?
Well, let's see if anybody gets on in front of him where he might be able to bunt him over. Moylan was throwing in the bullpen, still is.
And a good start. Ross continues his fine work against the Pirates. And the Braves have a leadoff man on for the 2nd consecutive inning.
Look how simple this swing is, Chip. There's nothing fancy about it. David Ross is strong, though. Hands are high, and he just drops the barrel of the bat down. Pitch about knee high right there. Great extension. Firm front side. Good balance. He doesn't fall all over the place and yank that one right through the hole.
So David Ross, the last man that Brian Burris will face in tonight's ball game. He's out after 5+ innings of work. The Braves have their 7th hit of the ball game, and the leadoff man on as we continue on in the bottom of the 6th.
T. Ubers, by McDonald's, by Georgia Power, and by Dodge.
A muggy night in Atlanta. So far, the rain has stayed away from the ballpark. As we battle on in this 6th inning at Turner Field, Nate McLeod is the Atlanta hitter, and Javier Lopez out of the Pirate pen.
He's done a lot of good things for John Russell. In situations like this, he's only given up hits to 2 batters out of the first 18 he's faced, the first batter he's faced. Lefty's just 4 for 24, and only 1 inherited run out of 17 has scored against him. So he's been good in these situations.
Lopez has been a well-traveled player. Originally drafted by the Diamondbacks. Boston took him in the Rule 5 draft. Then the Rockies traded for him. He pitched parts of 3 seasons in Colorado. As that ball went all the way to the screen, and no bunt by McLeod. Ross will move up on a wild pitch, it would appear.
Doman's asking Chris Guccione if that got a piece of the bat, but he only got a piece of his glove. May have gotten a piece of the umpire's shin guard too. That's probably what Doman heard. A break there.
See if the bunt's still on with a 1-0 count. It is, and Nate bunts it foul. Lopez really got it going in the big leagues with Boston. 27 games out of their bullpen in 06. Sub-3 ERA. 61 games in 07. 70 games in 2008 when the Red Sox had that devastatingly good pen. But in 2009, 0-2, 14 games, 13 runs for the Red Sox.
You can see why he's tough on left-handers with his sidearm delivery. Hides the ball well.
And that one got by again, and that one got a piece of the umpire's foot. And back-to-back wild pitch sequences. Chases David Ross to third with nobody out.
Thank you very much. No more sunflower seeds, so John Russell has to go to pacing.
Pepto-Bismol might be next.
Part of baseball is pitching and catching. So I've been told.
Now the infield in for Pittsburgh. 2 balls and a strike.
And a hit by pitch. How in the world did this sequence take place?
No, how in the world did Nate McLeod wind up catching the ball? That's what I want to know. Where did that hit him where it just was right in front of him and landed in his hand? Doink. Oh, here it is. Here you go, Brian. I got it right here. Off the thigh, spins up into his chest, and he catches it. Here you go.
Did it bounce off the sunflower seeds in that back pocket?
I don't know. That was hysterical. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Try it. Watch this. Off the thigh, up into the chest. I got it. I got to go. Here, take this. I got to go.
So the answer to our question, would Medlin hit, is answered. He won't. Omar Infante will pinch hit for him.
Well, then get him a run. Looking for his first win as a starter this year. Middle infielders are kind of halfway. Looks like if there's a ground ball hit to either one of them, they would come home. But they want to be in a position if there's a comebacker to the mound where they can freeze the runner at third and still turn a double play up the middle. That's being greedy. Brandon Donald loosening up for the Pirates now in their pen. Right-hander.
Lined into right field. Jones comes on, makes the catch. No chance for Ross. He was late breaking. Back to the bag to tag. And a hard sinking line drive. Caught by Jones, and his tumbling catch keeps the game tied.
That was a great catch by Jones. And you're right. It looked like David Ross didn't go right back to the bag immediately. Terrific play. Yeah, his first move was home. And if he'd been standing at the bag, he might have had a chance to score. But look how shallow Jones was. He didn't have far to throw the baseball, and David Ross not the fastest of Braves. Tough luck, real tough luck for Omar Infante.
And now Prado bats and becomes the key man in the inning. Martin 1 for 3, has scored a run. Double play in order for the Pirates.
Good luck.
And you hear Bobby saying Lopez balked on that move toward first.
Step pretty wide. Got a 45-degree angle in there that you've got some leeway on with respect to your step.
Bunt and pushed foul. Great idea. But a strike. The Braves leadoff man.
Certainly caught him by surprise and would have gotten the run in. It was not a squeeze. Ross was not breaking. Martin 8 out of 14 with a runner at third and less than 2 outs, getting him in.
High fly ball to right. Jones drifting back. That should be deep enough. Ross tags, and he is going to score the tie-breaking run. Good at bat for Prado. 4-3 Atlanta. And a chance for Medlin to win this game now.
Think about it, Chip. Frustration tonight on several fronts for John Russell and the Pirates for their lack of execution. Getting a guy in scoring position with nobody out and not being able to move him up. Tonight, the Braves get a leadoff single, then a couple of wild pitches moved him into third base with nobody out, but at least they executed with the sac fly to get the lead.
Now Hayward hits already 2 for 3 in this game. Crosby playing in front of Nate McLouth, Braves runner at first. Again, he's a middle infielder. I'm guessing he's doing that maybe not as comfortable as most first basemen would be, holding a runner, then coming off the bag with a guy who hits the ball as hard as Hayward. Runner goes. Pitch a ball. The throw to second is not in time. He got in somehow.
Just like Chipper early tonight, McLouth went on the first move by Javi Lopez, and again didn't give Domet much of a chance, although Ryan made a real good throw here. Cedeno picks it on the short hop, and Nate able to keep his toe on the bag, barely able to keep it on there, and pointing to the second base umpire to let him know, I'm still here. Nate's been funny this game.
1 ball, no strikes. The Pirates do have a base open. If they want to pitch carefully to Hayward, problem is the man hitting behind Jason is Chipper Jones.
It might have happened somewhere along the way since 1995, but I don't remember anybody walking somebody to pitch to Chipper. I would guess it's happened, but it's been rare indeed.
Two balls, 1 strike. Braves have taken a 6th inning lead. The way this guy is against lefties, you don't figure him to pitch around Hayward.
No, you wouldn't think so. And you got what looked like a generous call there from Chris Guccione on a sinker. One thing's for sure, Jason's not going to give in to him.
Up the middle, and the big 6'4" left-hander hauls it in and retires the side. But Lopez, a mess of his own making. A leadoff hit, 2 wild pitches, and a sac fly gives the Braves the lead.
And already in the season's first 2 months, Joe, we've seen some dominant pitching.
We saw one right here back in April. Ubaldo Jimenez with his no-hitter, saved by Dexter Fowler. He was the last out of the game. Dallas Braden, of course, threw the perfect game out in Oakland. And there's another one working tonight, going to the ninth with Roy Halladay on the verge of another one.
A's, Maben, and the pitcher spot due for Freddie Gonzalez and the Marlins. It's a 1-0 Phillies game as they try to win their second game in a row down in Florida. There have been 19 perfect games. And the last one in the National League, also one Braves fans remember well.
It's a little over 6 years ago.
So to the seventh we go. It'll be Cedeno, then the pitcher's spot, then McCutchen for the Pirates. And our AT call to the bullpen features right-hander Peter Moylan.
Sets up perfectly. Moylan in the seventh, Saito in the eighth, and Wagner at the ninth. Since Medlin gave him 6 good innings. Peter got a win in that rain-delayed game in Florida the other night after Tim Hudson had to come out after 4 innings and an hour's rain delay.
No worries.
Cedeno down swinging. A sweeping slider retires him. Good start for Peter Moylan.
And this is the Coors Light 6th inning. Time for the Coors Light freeze can. And this happened in the first inning. First runner on is McCutchen, and that is a pickoff. Tag in the helmet, arm about a foot away from the bag. Troy Gloss says, I got him, and Brian O'Norris says no. And we show you that Troy Gloss was right. That's a Coors Light freeze can brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Delwyn Young will bat for the pitcher, and Peter, with a rare off-speed pitch, drops it in for a strike. There is 1 out in Florida. Roy Halladay 2 outs away from a perfect game. Just got Mike Lamb to fly out to center to start the bottom of the ninth. Young bounces that ball. Gloss to Moylan. Peter did his job. And to our out in time for a money and energy saving bright idea from Georgia Power. Look for the Energy Star label when buying new appliances. Go to GeorgiaPower.com for more energy saving tips. Georgia Power is a Southern company.
And congratulations to Todd Redmond last night, throwing a no-hitter for Gwinnett. First one in Gwinnett history as he beat Louisville.
Here's McCutchen. And Peter has nasty breaking stuff in this 7th inning tonight. Wes Helms is up for the Marlins. Trailing 1-0 to the Phillies in the ninth.
Hey, Wes Helms has gone upper deck in that park. I've seen him.
Phillies offense really has been struggling of late. But you know, they were shut out 3 times in a row by the Mets. They've scored 1 run tonight. And now Halladay just struck out Wes Helms. 2 outs in the ninth. Peter didn't get the corner here. 3 balls and a strike to McCutchen. Third time this year Andrew has batted leadoff for the Pirates, and he's been on base twice. He's walked and he's hit a solo home run.
Peter's had some good life on his fastball his last 2 or 3 outings. That's a good sign. He's been back up over 90, 91, 92.
Did he go? He went around McCutchen. Can't believe it. 1, 2, 3 go the Pirates in the 7th. We stretch in Atlanta with the Braves up 4-3.
The Atlanta Braves on Sports South are brought to you in part by Academy Sports and Outdoors, by AirTran Airways, and by Verizon.
Braves up 4-3, trying to keep pace with the Phillies, who have won tonight. And they beat the Marlins 1-0. Roy Halladay throws a perfect game tonight.
20th in Major League history. Got a ground ball to third to end it. Jim Bunning did it back in 1964, but that ought to invigorate that Phillies ball club. Even though they only got 1 run. I mean, how great is it to throw a perfect game and win it 1-0? That's pretty impressive.
Struck out 11 men down in Miami tonight. And that's kind of one of those anything you can do, I can do better stories for Halladay. But with the start that Ubaldo Jimenez is off to for the Rockies, now you've got Roy Halladay throwing a perfect game. Not just a no-hit game.
115 pitches is all it took him.
So here in the 7th, Braves look for a little insurance. They'll start with Chipper Jones. And a quick strike from burly right-hander Brendan Donnelly. Well, I don't know who's going to start the All-Star game on the mound for the National League, but Chipper hits it high in the air to left and playable for Hastings Millage. But you could do a whole lot worse than either Halladay or Ubaldo Jimenez facing the American League in Anaheim in the first inning.
Pretty strong stuff.
Yeah. So Chipper retired for the first time tonight. Troy Gloss, the hitter, he's reached 3 times. He's walked, he's bounced into the force play, and he's doubled home the game-tying runs. Florida with that loss, 4 in a row, but 5 back now. Braves will win tonight, can gain ground on them. The Mets are losing. Washington plays out west later on, so it could be a very productive night. Braves separating themselves from the rest of the pack and right on the heels of the Phillies, who are in here Monday afternoon.
We were talking about that down in Florida, Chip, about how coming home knowing the Marlins are playing the Phillies, you're going to gain ground on somebody if you just keep winning. Ryan Doman adds injury to insult tonight. He's been roughed up tonight. Foul tip off the hand, got picked off second, and then that bolt right off the chin.
Lost down on strikes. And Donnelly, his former teammate with the Angels, has his first strikeout in this game. 2 up, 2 down for Braves shortstop Yunel Escobar. Yunel has struck out and has grounded to short twice. He has 7 hits in 43 at-bats in this, his 13th game since coming off the disabled list. Popped up right side. Crosby checks his positioning near the tarp, and a diving try is unsuccessful. Great effort from Crosby.
That was a heck of a try, laying out into the stands. Just out of reach. Great try. One other little star to put next to Halladay is how he beat Josh Johnson tonight. I don't know how the Phillies got their run, but a matchup of aces, and he throws a perfecto.
Yeah, tough to lose 1-0. Johnson now 5-2 for the Marlins. Up in the air to right. Playable for Crosby, who backpedals. And in foul ground, Bobby puts that away, and Escobar's struggles continue. 0 for 4 is he, and we send this game to inning number 8. Bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. It's a 4-3 Braves lead. Eighth inning in Atlanta. Braves gunning for their 4th consecutive win. Don't forget, friends, this coming Wednesday, take the day off. Surprise your family by bringing them to a weekday baseball game. The Braves and the Phillies in a SunTrust Business Fan Special at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, June the 2nd. Tickets are on sale now. Get them online at Braves.com/tickets or by calling 800-745-3000. And Atlanta makes its AT call to the bullpen. With 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up for the Buccos, it is right-hander Takashi Saito to protect the 1-run lead.
Saito's been racking up some strikeouts lately. 29 now total in 21 innings and just a 190 average against him. But it was these guys, Ryan Domit specifically, who handed him a loss last Sunday on the walk-off 10th inning homer.
Domit's due 4th. Let's let Billy Wagner worry about him in the 9th. And man, you got to worry about now is Neil Walker. Pittsburgh native has had a real good night tonight. Single, doubled, and walked in 3 plate appearances. And again, to make the point, Pirates are seeing their farm system start to blossom. With Walker, with Tabata, with Pedro Alvarez, with Brad Lincoln. All of a sudden you start talking about Alvarez and Tabata behind McCutchen and Walker on this Pittsburgh lineup. Chance for those guys to grow up and develop together in the major leagues. It could be very productive for the Pirates. As we know, have had nothing but futility last 17 years or so.
You know, too, the Braves have to go back and play the Pirates in Pittsburgh in August. I believe it is. I have to check here. No, it's in September. It's in September, and this team's gonna have a remarkably different look, I think, when we go back in there in September.
One ball, 2 strikes. The count to Walker. And Saito with a nasty breaking ball takes care of the Pittsburgh second baseman. 1 man down. Let's revisit our AT trivia question tonight. Martin Prado is the National League hits leader. Who was the last Brave to lead the league in hits?
I'm going to go Ralph Garr.
I think you're right.
Way to go, TP. 2 years in a row, including his batting title in '91.
We were right on top of that question, weren't we?
Well, we did throw his name out among the batting title winners.
Going through this day in baseball history, Terry Pendleton was with the Marlins back in '95. Had a 5-for-5 game with the Fish in '95. Terry and the Marlins beat the Astros that day with Chris Hammond on the mound, who also hit a grand slam in that game.
Wow. He's a good hitter. One other note on that perfect game down in Florida tonight. Josh Johnson lost on an unearned run.
Oh, man.
That game might still be going on.
Phillies only 7 hits, but an unearned run enough. Fly ball center field off the end of the bat for LaRoche. McLeod has that one measured up. And 2 are down. Last time the Pirates had a winning year was 1992. They were 96-66 that season. They've played 434 baseballs since. And Dave Baker, going back to 1992, what did the Dow Jones Industrial Average close the year at in 1992? What'd you guess? It's around 10,000 now.
I'd say around 7,000.
3,300.
No kidding.
3,301. Strike to Garrett Jones.
Times have changed.
Yes. Great film Unforgiven won the Oscar. And Eric Clapton's song Tears in Heaven won the Grammy Award in 1992. And gas, a mere $1.05 a gallon.
Oh, I remember those days.
You know, we're starting to sound like our grandparents. Back when I was a kid.
I started that a long time ago.
Did you?
Yeah. The long walks to school and all that.
Uphill in the snow, both ways, bare feet.
Bicycle that only had 1 tire.
No balls, 2 strikes.
down the middle, and Jones frozen. Saito, 1-2-3 in inning number 8. Domo arigato. 4-3, Atlanta the lead.
High fly ball belted deep left field, and the Braves lead.
Pirates, Sunday beginning at 1 on Fox Sports South.
4-3, Braves lead it going to the bottom of the 8th inning. Time for our Toyota Tundra. Hardest working player tonight. That belongs to Chris Medlin. Rocket off the ribs. Owie. Rocket back at him. Nice glove work. Let's turn that into a double play. Pick off at second. Dome it. Take a hike. Good work by Chris Medlin, who's in line for the win tonight.
Take a hike?
Get picked off, man. There's no hole to crawl into.
That's a big play in this game as Melky Cabrera starts off the 8th. 4-3, Braves in front.
A little insurance would be nice.
Melky 0 for 3 in the game. And 1 for 7 in the series. Braves and Buccos will wrap it up here tomorrow. Paul Mahalam, Kenshin Kawakami.
Another lefty tomorrow.
Braves also in the middle of a stretch of 20 consecutive games without an off day. They win this game, they'll go 5-1 in that stretch. A stretch that will take them on the road at the end of this homestand. 4 in LA, 4 in Arizona, and 3 with the Twins.
Here's the good thing about tonight. You got a day game tomorrow. You didn't need any long rain delays tonight, or heaven forbid a rain out, which would force a double header.
Slapped. LaRoche knocked it down, and that's good work just to do that.
Yeah, it was. Saved a double. Pretty good reactions by Adams' kid brother. Got some glove on it.
But after the long night of travel from Florida after the rain delay, remember we got home about 3 o'clock in the morning yesterday. Usually it's the second day where that weariness catches up to you. Here the Braves are grinding out a 1-run lead late. But turn around tomorrow, then back-to-back day games, Sunday and Monday, and then a night game Tuesday. So chance to freshen up as Ross with a perfect punt late to the bag. Was Walker, but he got there. Ross with a sacrifice. Cabrera to second, one out.
David Ross doing it all. Bases loaded doubles, doubles off the wall, leading off the 6th with a base hit, scoring the go-ahead run, now bunting a runner over. Doing a little bit of everything.
And we haven't even talked about the way he helped guide Medlin through the early innings of this game, where Chris had leadoff runners on all over the place. Started the game with 2 straight walks. And David coaxed him through 6 innings, allowing just 3 runs.
Back to the thing about the scheduling, though, and the day games, and a lot of day games in this brief homestand. But if you've got rain delays like the one last night, game didn't end until after 12:30 a.m. You had to turn around and come back and play a day game. That's just brutal.
Yeah.
So I think our lucky stars so far tonight, knock on wood, that that hasn't had to be an issue leading into the day game tomorrow.
Nate McLouth 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch. He's also stolen a bag. Let's see if he can deliver a hit to chase home Cabrera and extend this lead. It's a 4-3 Braves advantage. And for those, Joe, who don't follow the Pirates, rate the arms from left to right in their outfield tonight.
Left field, Millage. He's a center fielder who's really asked to play one of the corner outfield positions because of McCutcheon's speed. But Millage, pretty good arm. McCutcheon, pretty good. Garrett Jones, real good, although a little shotgun-like.
Out of play, foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kinski is in the on-deck circle, and we're back next. Well, he has worn out the right side of the foul ground here, hasn't he?
Doesn't matter where you pitch him. That's where he's trying to hit the ball. He's trying to hit. He's trying to pull everything. And that's part of why he's still under 200. There just aren't any hits out there for Nate McLouth, at least trying to go the other way and trying to hit the ball in the opposite field.
Over the inside corner, letter high, a called 3rd strike.
To give you an example, to kind of sum it up for Nate, he has 19 hits to right field, 3 to center, 2 to left. That's a dead pull hitter, and that was a good pitch by Donnelly that froze
So
Nate.
Nate's night 1 for 3 at the plate. And it will be Eric Kinski off the bench. 5 for 18 as a pinch hitter with a home run, 4 RBIs. Remember, he hit a pinch hit home run in Pittsburgh that briefly tied that game. A getaway day that Braves lost 3-2.
Sunday off Evan Meek, who hadn't been giving up anything. Throwing about 95, and Eric came off the bench. Crushed one. I don't know that I've ever seen a pitcher have that kind of reaction where he put his hands behind his back like Pete did. Rather interesting.
A little high, 2 balls, no strikes. Another one of those subtle lineup decisions Bobby Cox has made was the one that put Hinske in left field on a virtual everyday basis. Bobby at that time was playing anybody who was hot at the plate. And Eric's come up with a bunch of big hits this month. And is now ahead 3 balls, no strikes.
And he might get a green light here with an insurance run out there.
First and second for Martin Prado now, and 2 outs. Get your tickets now for the Braves Interleague matchups June 15th through the 27th. The Tampa Bay Rays, Ned Yost and the Kansas City Royals are coming to town, and Jim Leland's Detroit Tigers. For the best ticket prices and seat locations, visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. So Eric Hinske walks. Melky Cabrera's at second with 2 outs. Brendan Donnelly's night is done. Pirates are back in their bullpen. Down a run. Score. Chip and Joe with you from Turner Field tonight. In case you missed it, a whole lot of big news and notes from the minors and the majors on this Saturday evening.
Todd Redmond threw his no-hitter last night. Roy Halladay just threw a perfect game down in Florida. Carlos Silva just dazzling. He's now 7-0 as he beat the Cardinals. And how about this one? Kendry Morales hits a walk-off grand slam in the 10th inning to give the Angels the win. And then on his leap into home plate, broke his ankle. Lovely. Celebrate some more. Oof. That's a walk-off and a carry-off, as I understand it.
Yeah. Martin Prado will face Evan Meek. And that pitch way upstairs and high. Again, talking about the Pirates and their future. Got to think this kid's a part of it. He's an exciting piece of the puzzle for the years to come.
Yeah, he can bring it. Hinske turned around that 95-mile-an-hour gas last Sunday.
Hey. Meek, 27 years old, out of Bellevue, Washington, taken off the Tampa Bay roster in the Rule 5 draft.
No fooling.
Back in 2007, the end of the 2007 season. Line drive, right center field. That's going to drop. Melky scores. Hinske around, and 2 big insurance runner across. Another multi-hit game for Prado. Are you kidding me?
You can throw as hard as you want, but you better put some movement on it. That's 2 big hits off of Evan Meek by the Braves in the last 2 series. And Martin just pulled his hands in, let the barrel of the bat do the work, didn't overswing, and split the outfielders. Hit it hard.
2 big insurance runs. So the 2 runs across in the 8th belong to Donnelly. Now the runner at second is Meeks. And he'll face Jason Hayward hitting a cool 300. Jason homered in his first at bat tonight. He doubled in the third inning. Has bounced out twice since, so a 2-for-4 night for the Braves right fielder.
And another 6-run outburst by the Braves offense.
Averaging just under 6 runs a game in May. If they win this one, the Braves will go to 18-8 this month. Get their record to 5 games over 500. One ball, one strike. For Prado, by the way, 67 hits now, and his 22nd multi-hit game. And 11 times in the last 19 games he's played, he's had 2 or more hits.
Yeah, there's just no slowdown.
Balls and a strike. Down the left field line, LaRoche gives chase, nearly overran it, but made a fine play to retire the side. Martin Prado doubles home 2 with 2 outs, and the Braves have a 3-run lead as we head to the top of the ninth. Billy Wagner is in, and there's only one thing that could douse those flames, and that's a torrential downpour that just began at the ballpark. And Billy Wagner didn't want to throw more than a couple of warm-up tosses. He wants to get 3 outs and get this thing ended after a long night last night. And he is our AT call to the bullpen, as we are going to have a delay.
I didn't knock on wood hard enough.
Chris Guccione is going to bring on the grounds crew, and look, you can't blame him. It's absolutely coming down by the bucketful. And for the second straight night in the 9th inning, we're going to have a rain delay at Turner Field. The good news is this is an official game, and the Braves are comfortably in front.
I know it's not very professional.
Yes.
Boo. Boo.
Well, we told you earlier tonight the big question was not only the outcome of this ball game, but whether or not the weather was going to cooperate. We have very unfavorable forecasts this entire homestand. Hot, muggy night. We told you about an inning and a half ago how warm and humid it was getting, and the skies have opened as we look at what's taking place tonight. Chris Medlin's in line to win this game. Jason Hayward, Troy Gloss, Martin Prado, all three of those men have had big evenings at the plate. And the Braves, whether or not the weather cooperates or not, a chance to win their fourth in a row.
This is just amazing, though. I mean, the wind didn't get up. It didn't shift directions. We just checked when I popped off a minute ago about any rain delays. I had Flip Feinberg in the truck check the radar. He says, we're good to go. Pow. Right in the kisser. And Billy Wagner was trying his best to get the hitter up there and let's go. Ryan Dolman was kind of dragging his feet. But Chris Guccione says, nope, can't do this. Last night we suffered because of it, so let's get the tarp out.
And at the end of the day, you've got to make sure the players don't get hurt. I mean, you'd love to finish the ball game, but not at the cost of a potential injury. And with the Braves up 6-3, if the rain doesn't stop, the winning won't stop for the Braves because it is, as we said, an official game.
You know, it would be their fourth straight win. Again, they would put some distance between themselves and everybody that loses in the division right now. That's Florida. The Mets are behind by 2 runs in the 7th, and Washington, as you said, is playing out west, and they're down by 2 in the 6th inning. So if those scores hold up, they'll gain some ground on both of those clubs too.
So we'll see what Mother Nature has in store for us tonight in the 9th inning. It's a 6-3 Atlanta ball game. And for Joe Simpson, I'm Chip Carey. We invite you to stay tuned. The top 25 Braves moments in franchise history coming up, and we'll update you as the situation warrants.
to get the infield ready for play. They've got the batter's box area chalked up. We're going to have ninth inning baseball as you see what's taken place, Joe. To this point, the Braves up by a 6-3 score.
And for Chris Medlin, he's in line for his first win as a start. Got off with a bang in the first inning when Jason Hayward hit his 10th homer. Then in the third inning, Andrew McCutchen tied it as Eric Cabrera almost pulled that one back in. Then in the fourth, a triple by the pitcher with 2 out. You kidding me? Drove in 2 runs. And then it was Troy Gloss's turn in the 5th inning. He turns on 1 down the line. That plated a couple of runs. That tied the game. And then in the 8th inning, Martin Prado's 2-run double added some insurance after his sacrifice fly had given the Braves the lead in the 6th inning. Billy Wagner comes in for the 9th, and just as he gets to the mound, the skies opened up. And that was about a half hour ago, and now we're going to try to finish it right here.
And Ryan Domit will be the man that faces Billy Wagner. And he'll try to put the lid on this one for Atlanta. It was a 24-minute rain delay officially. And again, we apologize for jumping out so quickly from our top 25 Braves moments feature. As Domit skies that one toward left center field. Long run for Melky, and McClouth is there. And Nate hauls it in for the first out. But with heavy rains all around the metro Atlanta area, the umpires want to get this game in, and getting the field and getting the players back out ASAP is job one.
Great job here by Nate McCloud, staying glued to this baseball, not giving up on it. And then Melky trying to get out of his way, couldn't find a place to go. Bumped into him, but good play.
Popped up by Bobby Crosby, back behind the plate. And no play. This is an important appearance for Wagner. And he's trying to close in on 400 career saves. Right now he's tied with Dennis Eckersley for 5th all-time, 390. Career saves. And Crosby down to his last strike. Medlin 6 innings of 3-run baseball. Moylan worked a 1-2-3 7th. Saito a 1-2-3 8th. Wagner's gotten the 1st and the 9th. 2 men down.
95 high heat.
And Hastings Millage is the final Pittsburgh hope. Phillies won 1-0 earlier tonight. Roy Halladay, a perfect game down in Florida. Braves trying to keep pace with them in the East. With that Florida loss, they're 5 back. Mets are losing to Milwaukee tonight. Washington is out west and trailing. So it could be a profitable night in the divisional race. A strike to Millage. Billy's pitching like a man who wants to go home. It's been a long couple of nights at the ballpark.
He's pitching like a guy that's seen the radar, too.
Yeah. Didn't miss by much. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Interesting that Millage was the guy at the plate last night that drew a walk just before the skies opened up.
Ball game is over. The Braves bullpen was perfect. In 3 innings, they struck out 6 men. Chris Medlin picks up the victory. The Braves have won their 4th in a row, and a 6-3 final from stem to stern.
No great surprise, too, with the way the Braves won tonight, 6-3, that our Home Depot player of the game is Martin Prado. Another outstanding game for the guy. Another multi-hit game. He had a single and a double. He drove in 3 runs with a double and a sacrifice fly. He's up to 26 RBIs, and he is just tearing it up, our Home Depot player of the game.
Chris Medlin wins it. Billy Wagner saves it. Braves 6, Pirates 3, our final score. We invite you to join us in Atlanta tomorrow for Sunday Braves on Fox Sports South.
will go for a 3-game sweep over the Pirates. Coverage begins with Braves Live beginning at 1 o'clock. Our pal Tom Glavine should join us for the series wrap-up. Braves are a game and a half out in the National League East. 6-3 again, the final score on a rainy night at Turner Field in Atlanta. And for my partner Joe Simpson and our entire crew, Chip Carey bidding you a very pleasant good night from Turner Field, Prado, Medlin, and the bullpen, the Stars, as we leave you with tonight's final take.